anyone could do it now. You don't have to be that sophisticated. You don't even need a Russian accent to be a hooker.
Hooker, you do it.
Freudian slip there.
Yeah.
Do you remember those pens that like, you held them upside down, the clothes would fall off of the woman?
Yeah.
So somehow I got my hand on one of those pens, probably from one of my older brothers, because that's where you get everything when you're a kid. And I brought it to school, and I was showing it to my friends and everything. Welcome, everybody, to the Wait, what's the name of our podcast?
Malware Rewind.
Ransomware Rewind.
Ransomware Rewind.
So, what do you know about deepfakes, Mike?
I know that they're pretty awesome, and I want to do some. Know that I've only watched the videos online like most people, but to me, it's interesting. I have family members that they're influencers, and I thought it was interesting. I don't want to disclose their name, but he was telling me that people are using deepfakes with the influencer's voice, calling the parents and saying, "Hey, I've got your kid for ransom. You better give me the money." And then they have the kid's voice in the background saying, "Please help," and then getting on the phone and everything, and then they give it away. And then he send me money. So it's gonna have all kinds of utility, and I don't know how you can fight it. You can't regulate deepfakes. So to me, it's a fascinating subject. And the reason why it's fascinating because it's going deep into human nature. I'm sure if you heard a call from one of your kids, you're going to go in fight or flight. I know I would. I'm not going to be logical. Well, let me ask you a question. And I don't know. I think it's a fascinating subject, and kind of like maybe you can expand on what happened with the situation with Ferrari, because, man, talk about being cool under fire.
CFO Ferrari was a victim of a deepfake. One of the hackers called him posing as the CEO of Ferrari. He had the exact Italian accent of the Ferrari CEO. And we have to do these secret transfers. Don't tell anyone about this. It's always also clandestine when these hackers are getting a hold of your data. And he was a little bit suspicious, and he asked the CEO a question, which is a good practice. He said, "What book did you recommend to me last summer?" And the hacker didn't have any answer for that, and he knew it was a deep fake right then.
Yeah, it's fascinating because now we have to go back to the human things that the machine doesn't know, because the machine can mimic us perfectly. And that was really smart on his part. And I think that would be good to get that out there to people. So if they're seeing this, and if they do have a situation where they have a phone call about that, they have to ask something personal, like, "Hey, when not hey, when's my birthday," or something like that, but like, "Hey, when did we do this particular event?" Something that only a human would know, and it's God will it and put it up online, and everyone knows about it, because that's the only way you're going to beat the machines. Oddly enough, is to be more human, not as opposed to being more like a machine.
Right. You don't want to use anything that they could find online, because they can use AI to crawl your Facebook, your Google profiles, anything that's publicly available to find out your name, your birthday, your kids' names. All that stuff is out there. But if you ask something like, "What did we talk about at the meeting a few weeks ago?" Or in this case for Ferrari, "What book did you recommend to me?" You can use that to foil the hackers' plans.
And it could be interesting too, is because then we're in an election season. I haven't had it happen yet, but I can imagine you're going to get robocalls of like, "Hey, this is Kamala," or "This is Donald.
Right.
Give me money." And it's like, "Oh, I know it's a robocall, but it's legit. It's going to my candidate." And then you're going to be giving money to someone, and that's obviously a hacker. It just has so much utility, and we're just starting out with this. So you can imagine over time how deepfakes are going to progress. And when I saw you in the hallway, I was joking about how they can do deepfakes of the carbon-based version. So the carbon-based version will be showing up to work.
Just Battlestar Galactica style.
It's going to happen anytime soon. But man, considering almost everything we do is on the digital world, it's kind of scary, actually.
I was doing some research, and I saw that there was one that had over 8 million views of President Obama doing a deepfake video where he's like, "This is going to be a big problem, this deepfake. Actually, I'm not real, and I think Trump is a dipshit."
It would have been awesome if he says,
right?
"I'm voting for Trump." Yeah.
There's been deepfakes of Trump, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, Prime Minister of North Korea. Is that what they do? President, Prime Minister?
He's a dictator. He can call himself what the hell he wants.
Right. So he
Call
had
himself
a
the
deepfake
Messiah if he wants.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. And like when they first came out, they had Tom Cruise, the deep fakes of Tom Cruise. Like, oh, this is fascinating. This is really creepy because I don't know if you saw those, but it literally looked just like Tom Cruise, but it wasn't. And that's for the first time, my first experience with the deep fakes.
Is that the one where they had him playing Iron Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was unreal.
It was.
They did a Back to the Future one with same guy that played Iron Man and Tom Holland, and it actually fit pretty well. Tom Holland kind of looks like Michael J. Fox in a way.
Yeah.
For some reason, Tom Holland, Tom Cruise, Robert Downey Jr., they're very popular for deepfakes.
Probably because they're all very similar. They're all like 5'8" white guys, and apparently, when you're writing the code for deep fakes, there must be a template for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. They seem to be the most popular. Maybe it's because they're so famous, and then they know that they're going to get tons of impressions when they do those.
Yeah, and speaking of celebrities and cybercrime, Gwyneth Paltrow had a deepfake of her. She has a brand called Goop.
Mm-hmm.
It's a popular like women's lifestyle brand.
Mm-hmm.
And she had this whole thing with her talking, overlaid over her like TikTok videos where she's saying, we just had our 10 millionth customer. I'm giving out this special box to my loyal fans. Just click here. All you have to do is pay shipping. And I was looking at it. It had over 10,000 views. So I think like 10,000 people paying $10 in shipping. That's a big scam.
Yeah, get in on this racket.
It looked just like her. It sounded like her. It was legit.
Like, all kidding aside, I mean, people spend their whole life building this brand, and now it's going to be really easy to destroy that brand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what concerns me. And I know that's going to happen. There has to be ways to go around it. And I think the only way to do it is the real people have to just immediately nip it in the bud and say, hey, this is not me. I never said that. And then you're going to have to prove, hey, I was never at that location or whatever.
Right.
It's just really moving into a new time in history because nobody has no idea what the next 20 years are going to look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or you could say something stupid and then just call it a deep fake.
Yeah, that's another one.
How many times have you said something on video dumb and you're like, that was a deep fake. I didn't say that.
It's my wife.
That wasn't me.
That's a deep fake. I'm really this articulate guy when I talk. Well, she would know that's bullshit. But yeah, like you can use that. I mean, people do it already where, hey, I never said that. It's kind of odd. Like you'll see politicians, they'll say something on TV and the next scene is like, oh, I never said that. And it's with deepfakes, they can do that and they can get away with it.
And it's human nature to like share that stuff. People will see it, they'll get really excited by it and share it before even checking if it's real or not. So you get a lot of people sharing it, and then this person shared it, that person shared it. It must be true because, it's gone all over the internet, and then it ends up being a deep fake.
It's true. And I got to tell you, like when they had the Trump situation or the attempted assassination, I got to tell you, at first I thought, oh, that's got to be bullshit. It's got to be fake.
Right.
And then, and there's the whole theory of magnetic desire where people believe what other people believe. And I kind of like said, hey, is this like a big social experiment? And like I had all these weird thoughts in my head for a long period of time. And then when I saw it from multiple sources, like, oh, it isn't bullshit. Someone did try to kill Donald Trump and maybe realize that like the world that we live in, that I have to literally think twice about everything.
Right.
Because at first it's just really polarizing. I mean, the former president of the United States just about got assassinated. And I thought that was a deep fake at first. And then as time went on, obviously it was real. And I don't think we're going to see more and more of that, especially with propaganda. We're just living in a weird world where it's going to go, in my opinion at least, 180 degrees when we go from the carbon-based world, digital world to carbon-based to figure out what's true or not.
Right. It's quite dystopian.
It is. It really is. And then there's just, look at wars and everything. This is a giant propaganda machine. I can say anything I want, show this fake video, and you think it's fact.
Yeah, I did a little bit of research. I found that back in March 2019, there was some fraudsters that used voice-generating AI all the way back then, 5 years ago. It was a UK company with a parent company in Germany, and the CEO, the fake CEO, called this energy company and got the CFO to transfer $243,000. Yeah, so it goes back pretty far with these fraudsters. And I think these fraudsters, the Nigerian princes and these guys have been trying to spoof people for a long time. They just didn't have the AI technology to make it easy for them. Now the bar is so low. I mean, that company Speechify, I was able to upload some of my audio in 2 minutes. I had a voiceover voice for myself, sounded just like me. It was kind of unnerving. So yeah, there's a ton of scams out there. You saw that one about Europe. I don't know how to say the company's name. It was that UK company that had the Chinese counterpart where they had the fake Zoom meeting.
Yeah. That was another example. And I couldn't tell. And then day-to-day life, if one of my coworkers were to do one on me, I would never know. And it was kind of funny is a while back on Shark Tank during COVID, they had someone that came up where your employee could show up to Teams meetings or Zoom meetings, and it really wasn't them. And all he had to do was nod his head in mutual agreement.
Oh, gosh.
Because there's so many of those dreadful meetings that we get sucked into where we have no business being in the meeting. And,
right.
Yeah, I don't know if it took off or anything. No one invested in it, but that was the whole premise of just like, hey, I'll have like a deep fake of you that attends these Zoom meetings. Now, you don't have to say anything. I'm just going to nod my head and say yes and that sort of thing and laugh when it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like the modern version of those fake glasses that you could wear in class that look like you're awake, but you could be sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's a modern day version of those.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if I would fall for that if I had fake CFO plus 2 other people in the Zoom meeting with me saying, you got to send this money right now. We need it for this project or, something bad's going to happen. I might make $5 million transactions to Hong Kong banks.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it's easy for us when we're on the outside looking in, but you're in that given situation, you're in a state of fight or flight, so you're not going to make the best decisions, which is why they create those urgent situations in the first place. And there's the tonality of your boss. I can't speak for you, but for me, I probably would say, okay, I need to find a way to send this money over. It's kind of odd that he wants it in Bitcoin, but hey, he said Bitcoin.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, there'd be repercussions for that.
And did you remember the movie Her? With the robot voice?
Yeah.
And I think it was Scarlett Johansson's voice. And ChatGPT wanted to use her voice for their voiceover.
Ooh, that'd be scary.
And Scarlett Johansson said, no, I don't want to be like the AI voice.
Right, to this girlfriend,
right,
probably to like millions of dudes. And Joaquin Phoenix was in that movie. I remember he did a great job. And what I find concerning is it's true. Like people are lonely, and they're going to have this, this thing, but it's not really a thing. Tell them everything they want to do, and it's like their female archetype or male archetype if you're on your side. But I can see that happening, and I also find it's concerning. Just like Sam Altman, that is one of his favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Sam Altman has this vision of this utopia where everyone has these relationships with the machines and they're fine. Who knows what goes through Sam Altman's mind? I know he's absolutely brilliant, but Jesus.
Yeah, and he went ahead with using her voice even though she didn't give permission.
Damn.
And she sued the pants off to them or threatened to sue, and they had to stop that project. But he was like, oh, it's not your voice. It's has some likeness, but it's not yours, even though he put on Twitter like her as like just put that out there on Twitter the morning he did it. But it's not you. It's not her. It's not Sky from the movie Her. So
that's funny. When I see these videos of the like super smart people like him and Elon Musk, I've come to the conclusion that they're just like straight deterministic. Like, I'm going to use this voice on my AI platform. I don't care what anyone else does. I don't believe in free will. I don't believe in choice. I don't even believe in repercussions. I'm going to do this.
We're all in a simulation.
We're all in a simulation. So just roll with the simulation.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like a long time ago, there's a game called EverQuest. And in EverQuest, you were assigned a role, like you were a troll or blacksmith or whatever. And with the deep fakes and like people that are actually running the machines are like, this is the future. Deep fakes are going to be in our world, and we can't differentiate between simulation and reality. So we're in a simulation,
right?
And they'll control it.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of deep fakes on Elon Musk too. Speaking of him.
Tons of them.
I think that there's a company out there that's claiming that he's their CEO. He is not their CEO. And they keep putting deepfakes out of him like as their CEO, saying, and there's nothing really he can do about it.
No, there's nothing. It's like tracking his plane. Like Elon can only control so much. And like Elon would do when people tracking his plane. It's like, that's the world we live in, Elon. You can't get away with it. But like to take a step back here, I think what we have to do is when we see the deep fakes is like, is there any sort of proprietary information in here that only that person would know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only way that we can determine it. And in our own personal life, when it's being used against us, going back to the stuff that only we know as humans. I mean, I kind of like, what I would like to get out of this podcast is just maybe give some utility to this stuff, because we are going to be hit with this real soon.
Yeah, I think a safe word might be good. Yeah, cacao or
password, mic to the mic.
Bumblebee tuna.
Yeah,
What's our safe word? Right?
AI starts listing, the name of your pet, your kids, and everything. Is like, nope.
Yeah,
Okay, you're not real.
You should have some kind of like thing that you say when things are real. When like for that kidnapping example, it might be good to have like a tabletop with your kids or with the C-suite saying like, if you guys are compromised in some way, then you need to say this phrase, right?
Right.
It's kind of the world we're in now.
But I think it's a great idea, because you need something that is specific, that's off it. It's off, because anything on that is going to be vulnerable on some level.
What about all the fraud with like hiring people? Did you hear about that?
No.
This company that does employee cybersecurity awareness training, KnowBe4, they hired this dude from North Korea on accident.
Really?
Yeah, he used like a stock image and created like an AI profile from it. He used somebody's real identity for like all the background check stuff, and they sent him a company laptop.
Wow.
He went through the entire hiring process.
And then so he went through interviews and everything. Wow.
And they only knew that he was a faker because right when he got his laptop, he started loading all this malware on it. He did not slow play.
He wouldn't have got away with it. It wasn't for those pesky kids in the malware.
Yeah, I guess the head of cybersecurity there gave him a call and be like, hey, do you need a little help with your laptop? Like, it looks like you might have some malware on there right now. Luckily, they had, good, endpoint detection and could lock them out really fast. But yeah, they hired someone from North Korea, which kind of embarrassing for them, but they did a good job saying, like, hey, even us, a company that's training people for cybersecurity awareness, can get spoofed. So you should probably hire us to talk to your employees.
So if you get spoofed to get. Yeah, there's only so much you can do, but there is a lot of really good training out there. Like Mindcast does a really good job of training. They have really fun videos, so it's not boring. And it's just real simple things on like not bringing in the USB device, not letting people in the doors. But what I liked about their training is it's stuck in my head. A lot of times I do these trainings and you just use basic deductive reasoning and you can get through it. And it's not fun, you just forget about it. But the other thing, I think you have to accept the fact that it's going to happen to all of us. And what are we going to do afterwards? And we just got to mitigate the loss on the front end. The days of thinking nothing's ever going to happen.
And Mimecast anti-spoofing?
It's DMARC, where they just, it's for emails, but it's for security for email, for phishing attacks and so forth. But they also do workforce training. And I've taken these workforce trainings to see what's out there. And they do a really good job.
Yeah, we talked about them last podcast, right?
Yeah, we did. Because we were talking about, they're going to come up a lot when you talk about spam and stuff. Because the reason why I think about them right now, there'll be other companies that will come up as well. They ran a test where they used Microsoft Defender and they used Mimecast. And because of the way Mimecast systems works with DMARC and the way that they filtered the attacks, they found like hundreds of emails that would have gone through Microsoft Defender. And they have two different boxes with the messages. And then I'm sure another company will come out with better systems. It's just ever evolving.
Right. Well, Mimecast, if you're out there, we are looking for sponsors.
That's right.
They're not an official sponsor yet.
We got 12 listeners. We got 12 listeners, and Joe and I won $1 million for each listener.
Yeah, and
that's $12 million.
Two of those listeners are me and Mike. So
10 listeners. And oh, by the way, you heard him. I mentioned Mimecast the last video.
Yeah, that's
Hook some brothers up.
yeah. I read a statistic that phishing emails have gone up 1,265% since ChatGPT came out.
Oh, I believe that 100%.
So the bar is so low now for hackers and phishers and all these people.
Yeah, like it used to be like you'd have to know how to code. You would have to know network technologies. You could get into systems. Those days are over. You know, the human's always been the weakest link, but now more so than ever. Because you don't have to be that sophisticated. What was it, Kevin Mitnick, that used to hack phone systems, you know, with the pay.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, exactly. Yeah. With the payphone, and that. So all that to say, it's always been that way. It's not like in the movies where they always pick a guy with an Eastern European accent. You know?
Oh yeah, they're always the bad guys in the movie. Every Die Hard movie.
It doesn't matter what the movie is. The hacker's always an Eastern European. I wonder if the Chinese, and we're really good at hacking too.
Well, I mean, the Eastern Europeans are like a safe pick for Hollywood. They're like white dudes.
Yeah.
And
they're really concerned.
They don't have to worry about like pissing off the Arabs or pissing off the Chinese, or, you know, because they want their movie to do well in China too, right?
Right.
So they can get the Eastern European white accent. They don't want to, you know, piss off the Russians either. So, you know, they just kind of put them in an Eastern Bloc country.
Yeah, let's make them Polish. Polish people don't watch too many movies. Let's go with the Polish
right?
one. I like how we digress into Hollywood's depiction of a hacker.
It's not a big enough country to like make a difference in the box office.
I remember working with young people that were really good at hacking, and it's not like the stereotype of Hollywood. A lot of them were just like college kids, like, oh, by the way, I can hack. And then they did Black Hat, and they would offer services and stuff. So all that to say is anyone could do it now. You don't have to be that sophisticated. You don't even need a Russian accent to be a hooker. I mean, you do it.
Freudian slip.
A hooker, yes. A hacker, no.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, they did catch those. If you are good, though, and you are sophisticated, you know, those guys from Scattered Spider that took down MGM Grand,
yes.
They picked up a couple of those. The FBI did picked up, I think, 3 of the guys from Scattered Spider.
That's interesting. The FBI was able to find 3 guys from Scattered Spider, but they still don't know who brought coke into the White House. They need to work on their private. That's funny.
Oh, man.
Good for them. They found him. And I assume that people in Scattered Spider are, I don't know, talking amongst themselves, bragging, because it all goes back to human nature. Like, a lot of these people will do something like that and just brag about it among their, as if it's not going to go outside of their circle.
Right. If they follow the good thing about the FBI is their time horizon is much longer than the hacker. The hacker is just looking at like the next, you know, hack, and the FBI, the other, you know, 3-letter agencies that they work with, because they all have to work together for this kind of stuff, can follow the bread, and online everything leaves breadcrumbs.
And I wonder about that too, because like with the FBI, they have tons of time and money, and they catch people years after the fact. You know, kind of pause it, because like, can you imagine going into court? They've got like years of proof on you. I don't know how many people beat the FBI, but I guarantee that's going to be in the single digits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to be on the run, you know, from the law. I think a lot of times these guys are tired of running, in a way, and they kind of make mistakes subconsciously so they can, you know.
Oh, by the way, if you're in the FBI, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah,
just saying.
I don't know if this is the show for you, but maybe
it is. But like, so like, we're just kind of curious. You're like, what's your batting average?
Right?
With criminal,
we get them 100% of the time over 30 years.
I have a friend that's a former homicide detective, and he was explaining to me a lot of the stuff they do find. Back in his day was the hard drives, because it was like, I think he retired in 2010, 2012. You know, it's a felony, and a lot of this, they're going to find you eventually. Mm-hmm. And that's why the deepfakes is kind of circle back to the beginning of the conversation. It's amusing, but it is being used by bad actors, and there's got to be repercussions for you bad things, especially if harm to people.
Yes, and there's new legislation coming out. Some of it was like, you can't like put somebody's head on like a naked, you can't like, use people's voices and stuff, you know, to cause reputational harm. A lot of regulations are going out there, which I think is good. You know, I think people are going to do it less, you know, if it's, you know, these kids that are putting like their teacher's head on like porn stars, there needs to be repercussions for that kind of stuff, even though it's probably the kind of thing I would have done when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can picture myself doing that. I didn't get a grade I want, so I'm going to smear my teacher's reputation. And then I just don't know how you would enforce those laws, because it would only be enforceable in the United States. And like California, they have the privacy law, CCPA. I don't think they're enforcing it at all. It's like, it's just, who's going to enforce these laws? But
yeah, they use them to make an example out of big companies. Yeah. Did you ever get in trouble in middle school or high school for something like that?
Well, not hacking. I'm back in the Stone Ages. We didn't have the internet so much. I never hacked my teacher or do a deepfake on her.
Okay. Here's a funny story that happened to me. Do you remember those pens that, like, if you held them upside down, the clothes would fall off of the...
Yeah.
Somehow I got my hand on one of those pens, probably from one of my older brothers, because that's where you get everything when you're a kid. And I was showing it to my friends and everything, and I was like, don't tell anyone. For some reason, in middle school, nobody can keep a secret. So I get called in by the vice principal, and I'm like, crap, is there something you want to tell me about a pen or something like that? And I have this thing stashed away in my pen, like deep down in there. I'm like, no, I don't have anything. And like, he basically like pats me and looks in my backpack and everything, and he never found it. So
nice.
Mr. Hoff, if you're out there, I did it. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting on the deepfakes. I can't even tell half the time. I took this test on detectfakes.kellogg.northwestern.edu, where they put all these pictures up and you say how much you see if you know it's a deepfake or not. And the obvious ones are pictures where like their hands are messed up or their feet are messed up, or there's weird things in the background, or the wording in the background is gibberish. But a lot of them are really hard to tell.
Oh, I bet. And I've seen where influencers are being called out, specifically fitness influencers, because they're not even photoshopping. They're actually using AI versions of themselves. And it's just, you can see like a swirl, just a little swirl around the hips or what have you, and then the background doesn't match up. But people are saying, oh, I'm going to pay money to this woman or man because they have some secret about getting healthy. And in reality, the whole thing's fake. It's kind of a takeoff from deepfakes in that they have this.
So they're using fake bodies?
And like, it's beyond Photoshop now. Like, naturally, they're healthy. I mean, they are fitness influencers. They are healthy. The thing is, in the pictures, you can see that the back is messed up. They're taking them to themselves to a whole different level, like veins on the stomach when they don't have veins, like, if that's a thing, to give some example. But there's people online that are calling them out, and they're just looking at the background saying, okay, look, there's a bend in that chair. There's no bend in that chair. That means that you photoshopped it or it's AI. Yeah, we just live in a world where everything's fake, almost. And like, I can go down the rabbit hole, like when I was thinking about the election and everything, it's like, maybe we are in a simulation just out of the blue. Like, hey, we got a new candidate. Peace out. I'm like, well, wait a minute. What about the last 3.5 years? It's like when you play a video game and your character dies and you start at the beginning and you need to go through the city again, like you're doing, Grand Theft Auto, when your character dies, like, oh, shit, now we got to go start from the beginning. It's almost like that. Like, wait a minute. What about the last 3.5 years? Like, it does start feeling like a simulation. And I know I'm starting to go down the rabbit hole as we have more deep fakes, or living our lives more digital. It is something that we're going to have to question over and over. Hey, is this real or is this digital?
I remember seeing a movie about that where they like took the real president out and they replaced him with like a robot or something. I could see that they could take a politician out like in an emergency, and then they could put deep fakes up for him like talking from like some bunker, and then we've got somebody else running the government.
I wouldn't be the wiser.
Yeah, let me put my tinfoil hat away for a second.
Yeah.
So how can you spot a deep fake, Mike?
Actually, the only way I can spot it when I've watched them is just to pause it. Honestly, I cannot do it 100% of the time. I got to be honest with you. I have to pause it and ask myself if this is real or fake. What I've done is just say, is it too good to be true? Because humans have flaws. We stutter, we pause, we blink our eyes, we move awkward. even a polished celebrity, that's what I look for. But even AI is so good, a lot of times I'll do that too. But that's been my best bet. In the real life, I'm gonna learn something like we did today, where I am gonna have a secret word with my kids. I am gonna have to people that are close to me know, hey, I need to know if you call me on the phone, this is our secret word. That's how I'm gonna know in real life. As far as
which is going to be cacao.
Mic to the mic. As far as celebrities and politicians, I'll just watch the circus. There's really nothing I can do about that.
Right. Like looking at their eyebrows, facial cheeks, forehead. Is it too smooth? Is it look a little bit too polished? I think like glare on the glasses, shadows, lighting is hard to perfect with AI. I think I saw one.
Hands.
Oh gosh, the hands
for artists and machines are really hard.
The AI hands are so like off-putting.
They're kind of creepy. They got like the lobster effect. Like, Tom's the lobster man.
It's getting better, but like the hands in AI, I don't know why, but it's just so off-putting.
Yeah, that's kind of like hits my stomach when I see those. Like
just gnarled hands. Everything else looks good, but
yeah, the arthritis hands.
Yeah, like I guess moles blinking too much, like lip movement can be off. But yeah, I don't know. We just have to like question everything.
Turn everything on.
Go what did they say in X-Files? Truth is out there. Question everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while.
I definitely like. I'm a big fan of the X-Files. It makes me also want to watch Twilight Zone as well. Because we're living in the Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm. Can we get David Duchovny on the podcast?
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
David, we've got 10 listeners, and I know you're one of them. You need to get on our show.
I think the last movie I saw him in was when he was the hand model in Zoolander 2 or something.
Oh, really?
He was like Dave Duchovny, the hand model, and he had like his hands in glass.
Oh, I remember that.
Ben Stiller was like, thank you so much, David Duchovny. And he like turns around and steps on the glass. His hands are all like bloody at the
Yeah, we need to get him on the show.
Yeah. And we have a lot of ambitious guest goals. So what close on here? I think
I think we should close on the fact that when you see these deep fakes, especially during an election year, just pause. Take a step back and pause and see if this is real. You're going to get nonsense on both sides of the aisle. And we're also living in a time people easily provoked. It's almost like we got two crazy tribes, and quite frankly, I think they're both lunatics. So when you see these deep fakes of your favorite politician, the politician that you just take a second, say, is that true? That's my take.
Awesome.
What are your thoughts?
I'm in agreement with that. I think that deep fakes are a reality that we have to live with now. Unfortunately, they're out there. We can't put the genie back in the bottle, and we need to be vigilant. We need to question everything. We need to, in business, follow the protocols that we put in force to stop these kinds of fraudulent transfers and everything like that. So if you have a confirmation call that you need to make, then make the confirmation call. If somebody calls you claiming to be the CEO, do a call back, not to that number that they just called you on, but the number that's in your phone. If you're getting a phishing, Amazon or something, don't click on the links. Go to the actual Amazon or go to the actual bank that says that they are calling you and see if it's for real. I'll get calls from the San Diego police force saying that, or a call saying that I owe money to the water company, and they're all scams. But if you don't, you're not going to know. And the last word of advice is never pay anybody over the phone. Be very slow with your wallet when you're paying, especially over the phone. Always just go to the actual bank's website or the actual company's website and do everything there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it all comes down to us as humans. And if it feels like a scam, just take a minute. And if they're forcing urgency, 9 times out of 10, it's a scam.
Yeah, that's a huge red flag, is if they're saying some kind of, they're going to shut off your water, or you're not going to get this contract, anything like that. I know there are things like that in the real world and business, and you're stressed out and you want to impress your boss or make sure that you come through. You're not going to impress your boss, negotiate a hacker down from $250,000 to $90,000 and sent $90,000 on his behalf, they're going to be pissed off because you didn't call them.
Agreed. So I hope if anyone gets anything out of this is that they put a system in place that protect themselves against scammers and deepfakes.
Yeah. And don't worry.
But believe us.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with your wallet.
Exactly. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're listening to this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Apple, make sure you give us a 5-star and share it with one of your friends. We don't have any sponsors, so that's the cost of the show, is you got to share it with anything to take us out of here.
Stay safe, people.
Oh.